Hey folks, what's up? This is Derek Crabb from History of Comics on Film and also the Fanholes podcast, and I'm actually joined here today by a good friend of mine. This is Michael Vargas. Now, you may have noticed on some of the History of Comics on Film, I've dedicated some of the episodes to him because of the whole Blue Cupcake thing, so I'd like to declare him as a co-propagator of the term Blue Cupcake. And then also, if you've listened to Fanholes podcast, you may have remembered tales of the guy who missed Frieza's death because he was busy doing extra work. Mm-hmm. And so this is he. So he and I went out last night and we saw Batman Live. So this is the stage extravaganza Batman Live. Pretty much it's kind of like, I was thinking it was like going to be a musical, but what it turns out to be is there's no real, I mean there's music in it, but there's no, Batman doesn't sing songs, and Catwoman doesn't have a musical number, and Harley Quinn's not singing sonnets to the Joker or whatever. It's more kind of like a Cirque du Soleil thing, where they have different acrobatic acts. So that works really well with Dick Grayson as Robin, and how they go to Haley's Circus, and they go to Penguin's Iceberg Lounge, and so on and so forth. And so they're all kind of doing acrobatics in midair, set to music, and they have fight choreography and wire work where Batman flies in and everything. Just to start off so you know who it was written by, like this is an official DC production, so I guess, Jeff Johns and Jim Lee are right at the head of this little program that I just kind of threw off to the side. But basically, Jeff Johns, I guess, found Alan Heinberg, who I guess has experience in theater, but you also may recognize his name because he wrote for the OC, and he wrote Young Avengers for Marvel Comics. So he has a bunch of comic book familiarity as well as a background in theater, so Jeff Johns recruited him to write the book for this extravaganza live stage thing. I guess the story by development also goes to Stan Berkowitz and Alan Burnett, who also worked on Batman the Animated Series. So there's a lot of Batman the Animated Series influence stuff that we're going to talk about in a few minutes here. The way the stage was kind of set up was like, it was, kind of like a proscenium, and you had the little apron that jutted out, and so basically you had audience on all three sides, and me and him were sitting up in front.
The acrobatics are directly above.
In the rear, there's a bat rear projection screen, so like all the backgrounds and scene changes were reflected in that bat. So you started out like Act 1, Scene 1 is in Gotham City. So what were you calling all the little buildings and everything?
a nunchuck?
Yeah, he's sitting next to me.
Because I couldn't remember Apache Chief's name, and I was like, wait a minute. Are the actors going to walk around these tiny little buildings that you could sit on like lounge chairs? And are they kind of in a nunchuck thing? Like they supersize? Or
yeah, so he's kind of like...
of disbelief?
He's kind of like, are they a neck chucking it? Like, what are they doing? Because in the first scene in Gotham City, Scene 1, it's like Chief O'Hara's walking through Gotham City, but Chief O'Hara is a full-sized person like us, but all the landmarks, the Monarch Theater where young Bruce Wayne goes to see Zorro is, about as high as we are on camera right now. It's not very high. So we were kind of laughing because it looks like, there's this police officer, looks like Apache Chief size, running through all these cities and everything.
Here, take it, it's yours. That's very generous of you. Dr. Thomas Wayne. And don't even think about going to the cops. Because now I know where you live. And you wouldn't want anything to happen to young Bruce seeing now, would you?
Scene 2, it goes into Monarch Theater, so all those landmarks, I guess, get put underneath the stage. And so you only have the Monarch Theater, and then the bat screen, of course, the view screen changes the backdrop, so you're no longer just in the cityscape, you're like in the movie theater with Bruce Wayne and his family, and then he comes out and he's fighting and all this stuff. And then this is where we both looked at each other, which was kind of funny because the script has the death of Bruce Wayne's parents, and it goes into the origin like right away in the first couple minutes. And so you have a little girl playing Bruce Wayne, and he's she, whatever, is running around, swinging a sword, pretending to be Zorro, and then, Joe Chill, or whoever it's supposed to be, comes out and holds up the Waynes at gunpoint. But then what was funny was he I guess grabs the pearls from Bruce's mom, but then he runs off stage pretty much, right?
Yeah, and
I
know why they did it. I mean, we know why they did it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want the parents getting shot in the face.
Yeah, they didn't want that on stage.
But I think that's even worse because the kids, instead of being traumatized, are going to grow up thinking Thomas and Martha Wayne, is it?
Yeah.
Thomas and Martha are really stupid.
Yeah, because they
run
after Joe
So
Chill.
unless it was a PSA, don't run after criminals.
Yeah, kids,
if they
from Michael and me, don't run after the thug with the pearls. Like leave him alone. Like you can get some more pearls later.
They had a cheesy line in there where it's the hood. I guess it was Joe Chill or
yeah. I don't know. I don't think they
Random
named
Chill or Joe Chill.
Yeah, I think it was Random Chill because they didn't. I don't remember them naming him.
As in, you're never supposed to know
who it was or something.
It's
yeah,
not important.
Yeah.
But so Random Chill has his wallet and he's like, Dr. Thomas Mullen.
Oh yeah. He was like,
I know where you live now. And then he runs into the alley, and then this doctor, who is a doctor of stupid, goes, well, I need to run off after him. He knows who we are. And he runs off after him, and the dumb bim wife's all, wait a minute, I'm not slipping out of my American accent. Don't come back. And she's running back off after him, and then they both get capped.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is, don't be the Waynes.
Well,
don't follow them into. If you're already getting mugged, don't follow them into the dark alley where they can't be seen, with your kid alone on the street, and where they can be shot. And obviously, since it's Random Chill, they never find him.
Yeah, they never do. And then what's funny is, to me, I'm like, not only is he Random Chill, he's Random Exposition Chill, because he sort of sets up everything. Like, if you had no idea what Batman's story is, it's kind of like the whole taking the guy's wallet is like, hi, you are Dr. Thomas Wayne, and you are Martha Wayne, and this is your son, Bruce Wayne, and you're watching Zorro. I will take your wallet now. And he kind of runs off, so he's like super.
Keep in mind that Random Chill must know that, I guess Random Chill's an out-of-towner because he doesn't know who the Waynes are.
Yeah.
They also live in this ginormous fortress of Maximus of a mansion.
Yes.
So I think he knows, unless he's from out of town, he must be aware of where that place is. And I'm sure, Thomas Wayne, if they're that rich, can afford, maybe some big tough guys to whoop. To guard the estate, or
or something. He's got security.
I mean, yeah.
He at least has Ace the Bat Hound or somebody.
But I mean, mission accomplished. They were not shot in the face.
They weren't shot in the face on stage. So the kids weren't.
Instead, my
upset.
brain got shot in the face with all sorts of logic errors.
But did you notice when they did the blocking how the young Wayne, like the way they posed him in blocking, kind of looked like Frank Miller's Year One, like the way he was like sort of.
I'm too busy laughing at the doctor getting blasted.
So I'm trying to pay attention to like comic book nods or whatever, but it looked like the blocking, like the way he was posed, is in that.
So yeah, I mean that's
year
an iconic Batman
pose, like that he's there with the rose and his parents are dead and everything, and then basically like it fades to black, and when it pulls up, it goes into Act 3, which is Haley's Circus, and when it pulls up from the black, they swap, the young Wayne, and they pump up the adult Wayne from the stage, and he's there like all broody and whatnot, and and of course you have to sort of suspend your disbelief because everybody's got the Borg Bluetooth microphone so you can hear these actors, because it's the HP Pavilion in San Jose is huge. There's seats on every which side, so people can watch it all. It's kind of a theater in the round, if you will, because everybody's on all sides. And so then it goes into, this act with Haley's Circus, and, he's talking to Commissioner Gordon, and they're making a bunch of comic book nods to, oh, hey, you're the Playboy, and you're going out with Julie Madison and Vicky Vale, wah, 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 and stuff like that. That's what Commissioner Gordon is talking about. And then they do, it's kind of like Batman Forever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of do the Flying Grayson's show, And I was telling him, like, sometimes he nudges me and sometimes I nudge him. But it's like, at this time I was nudging him because the Flying Graysons, like, kind of scared me. Only because, they're secure. You see them test the wire.
But the plot is about them falling to their death.
Doing
acrobatics.
Yeah, and they're doing acrobatics, like, right in front of you. And so it's already kind of hair-raising because you're like, they're swinging back and forth and then they leap off and then grab, and they're doing the acrobatics and everything. And even though they're secure with wires, you're sitting there, you're kind of going, whoa.
I don't think my heart could take that kind of irony.
Yeah.
We're to fall in the middle of this scene about them falling to death.
But luckily, I guess it's not Turn Off the Dark, so nobody fell and there were no crazy accidents and everything. So that's good, and they were pretty secure. Although there was a really, really big accident that I think we should discuss, which is the guy with the bowling pins.
Twice.
Could not fucking... He was trying to try juggle, And you think, like, wow, this guy's got to try juggle and not drop them every night for, 40 nights in a row.
Not our night.
Not on our night, man. What did you say? He went to the Britannia pub or something?
This is a British production. There's a British pub down the street, about 20 yards, more like 100 yards from the theater, so do the math.
And it was like he was. But what was sad was that the first time he's like right in front of you, like, well, at least for us because we're right in the middle of the seats and everything. And so he's juggling them, and he totally drops it, and has to play it off. And then he went to stage right and tried to hide in the background because he had dropped it and he was embarrassed, and he dropped it again. So I'm sorry.
I dropped my car keys and things and my cell phone.
So the acrobatics for Haley Circus was the Flying Graysons. Awesome. I was a little scared for them, but awesome. How do they handle the death? It's very slow, and they sort of lower them down, and then it fades to
which I was confused because you kind of
black.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, you know they're falling. So, I know they're falling in slow mo, but they're still falling, and so you can kind of imagine them impacting, and that's a lot different from, in my opinion, than people getting. There's a gunshot and there's somebody falling over. I mean, to me, it's a little more graphic.
Yeah.
I mean, just a minute ago they were
even on the animated series that first time. What did they do? They just showed the shadow of the rope, going back and forth like a limp dick or whatever it was. That was what they did on the anime. But this, you physically see them fall, and just so you keep in mind this bat rear projection screen. It's showing all this artwork and everything. And I think I mentioned Jeff Johns, and also Jim Lee has a big nod in the program because the artwork is not Jim Lee. He didn't draw the artwork in the back, but you can tell they used his style as the basis. So it's kind of this pseudo fake looking Jim Lee type stuff. So when the parents get shot and they do flashbacks of that later in the show, or during this circus acrobatic thing, and you're seeing the circus tent, it's they literally pan through, so it gives you this false perspective of the rear projection. It's you're outside of Haley Circus, and then they do a quick pan, and then you're inside of Haley Circus. But the actors are just kind of walking in motion, and look, we're walking in the
which is fine.
Which is fine. No. But I'm just trying to give background of what the art looks like and everything. So they do the Robin origin, and Tony Zuko's there, and he's basically they have people who know their comics, I guess, because Tony Zuko's there, and he's like, hey, Grayson.
He was great, by the way. The audience. I think the audience hated him more than any villain in the show, just probably because he was more tangible threat than somebody. But people, I remember even saying to you, I was like, "Where's Batman to smack this guy?"
Yeah. he's like, "Where's Batman's prep time now?" I'm like, "Oh, it's all gone." He's not on top of things.
But he was great. He was just, I hope you have a nice son. I wouldn't have him swinging around up there. He might fall, have an accident. It's just all. It's like you didn't. Half the audience want to run to the stage and swing.
You didn't introduce me to your lovely wife, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he was great.
So he was good. And so they, like we said, they do the acrobatics, and it leads to the Wayne's death. Now, this was another odd thing, kind of like the Martha and Thomas Wayne, running after the burglar. They had some kind of friction between Gordon and Bruce Wayne for, a few minutes. In most stories, Bruce Wayne, leaps right up. He relates to Dick's tragedy right away, because his own parents died, and he takes him in. But in this, it was kind of Gordon's kind of like, Bruce, you know, the boy, he doesn't have any place to go.
Yeah, I think
And
most
then-
people were expecting like a bonding scene between the two of them. And
Yeah,
instead they
yeah.
got Bruce whining about.
And
taking
Bruce is
him.
like, oh, I can't take a child, Gordon. I don't think that I'm the right person.
And I guess they were
for
trying
that."
to suggest the reasons why is because, well, I'm Batman and I
Yeah,
don't want this
yeah,
guy up my ass.
Yeah,
But-
I can't raise a child because I'm too busy being Batman. Like, sort of responsible, but sort of not responsible all at the same time. Eventually, he kind of gives in, and he's like, Dick, you're coming home with me. And so some people are chuckling because the kid's name is Dick.
Well, they were. What was odd was Dick's father. What's the name? Dick's,
what is it? Mary and
John.
John Grayson, something
John?
like that. John.
Well, John kept saying Dick. Like, the point was that the actor kept pronouncing Dick with a cadence, like he was trying to
okay. So it
make
sounded,
fun of
it
his
sounded
name.
funny.
But I'm like, it's your son, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's your
I get,
son, like-
I get that it's silly that his name is Dick because Dick has a different meaning in modern times. But yeah, but I just thought it was kind of odd for the father to diss his own son.
Yeah, and he seems very. The thing I thought was odd is because Robin is an older guy, but he's playing a teen, and then he gets all excited like when he meets Bruce Wayne for the first time. Before his parents die, he gets introduced to Bruce Wayne, and he has that weird scene where he's like, "Oh, isn't he the playboy philanthropist?" And I'm kind of like, it's like exposition dialogue, but then it's like you're saying, like, what does he do? He reads the like sleazy tabloids and gets all excited that Bruce Wayne like goes around and macks on all these debutantes and
Well, I
rich
guess
chicks and everything.
for Gotham, it must be like Donald Trump is walking around. and it's
it
just
must
like-
be a big deal.
And it's oh man, Donald Trump wants me to live. But for some reason, Donald Trump was not feeling Robin this time.
Yeah.
And I could sense some not disappointment, but some, for lack of a better word, discombobulation with the audience because they were expecting like, sure, chum, come move right on in. I'm awesome.
Yeah, and there was
Batman.
a little
And
hesitance.
instead, there was like some sort of
that,
odd
yeah.
like tension from that never really gets resolved. I mean, I guess you're supposed to take away that he's Batman. He doesn't want Robin to know. But I mean, there was never some big, what's the word, denouement?
Oh, denouement.
Denouement. Deja vu. But
Denouement.
there was no like, gee, I'm sorry, Robin, I couldn't take you in. It's because I was Batman. It was just kind of like they go through the whole Robin journey to Robin anyway.
Yeah, but they just put some friction in it.
Yeah, but for
because-
some reason, in other words, for some reason, Bruce Wayne was bellyaching about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that seems kind of like me when it's time to buy a cat. And it's like, okay, I really want to get a cat. I don't know.
Do we have to get the cat?
And it's like there's no special reason. Just I don't want a cat.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
have to clean its turds and it's just and feed it. And it's like that's what Bruce Wayne sees.
Yeah, that's kind of what it
I
felt
have
like.
to feed the damn kid and like.
Parents are dead, Mr. Wayne. He has no one. I thought you of all people would understand.
I do. I can barely take care of myself.
Then it's about time you learn how.
And so the other thing too is then when he comes back to the mansion, he's introduced to Alfred J. Pennyworth, and so because it is originally production,
Well, Alfred
that-
was also the man, by the way.
Yeah, he was
Like,
great.
He was.
You're, his butler?
That is one of my many facets, yes.
It's actually Alfred that runs the show around here. He's the one that keeps me sane.
It is good to be challenged by one's work, at least that's what I keep telling myself.
so it's,
This was a British production, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obviously they were just Alfred had all sorts of fan art throughout this show.
yes, definitely.
But he was really awesome.
Well, it's kind of like they tried to do the I'm going to tie it back into the comics again, but they tried to do the Jeff Johns Earth 1 thing and bypass most of Batman's training with Alfred exposition, where it's like, I'm Sir, Alfred J. Pennyworth, British Special Forces, like, at your service, and he trained Batman, basically. And some people are kind of like, what? And some people are kind of like me, like, well, there's that Earth 1 version and whatever, but what did you, I mean,
Well,
you just thought it was
Alfred
like
didn't
fan
prepare
art?
him for the fear toxin.
No,
did he?
no, he
And
didn't. He
prepare
did
him
not.
for Harley Quinn to steal his.
No.
his
He-
plot,
yeah,
that's
he
another
did.
story.
We're going to get to Harley Quinn in a minute, so it's coming. Don't worry about it.
But it's just I thought when people think Batman and all that training, they think of ninjas and exotic stuff, and it's just like this crusty old British guy.
Yeah,
trained to-
yeah.
So I think if it would have been one thing if it was like, well, I'm one of the guys that. But then it's like, if Alfred trained Batman, and he alone trained Batman, then why isn't Alfred
Yeah, why isn't
Batman.
Batman going out, or Batman? Why isn't Alfred going out being,
Yeah,
like, you know,
he could be
Azrael
like-
Jr. or something?
Exactly.
You know, like what's up with that?
He could be Master Roshi.
He could have the Jim
His
Aparo
Goku.
Azrael outfit, but it's really an A for
Yeah.
Alfred.
I mean, you could just like people nerds will say, "Well, he's too old, dude." And it's and I would say, "Yeah, he was young once. He was British Special Forces."
Yeah, what did he do?
So who knew the British Army had a guy badass enough to create Batman?
Yeah, that's where Batman. You heard it here first. Batman was created by the British Special Forces,
Yeah.
apparently. So just moving on. So scene 4 goes to the Gotham Museum, and there you see kind of like the more Cirque du Soleil type stuff. Catwoman scales down this huge rope to try and Mission Impossible style steal this, you know, gaudy kind of prop looking diamond or whatever, and then Batman comes in with wire work. It was kind of a little surreal kind of fight because it's like she's supposed to be leaping to and fro Batman, and they're trying to play keep away with the diamond and stuff. But it was, you know, very controlled, safe wire work. So it was kind of like, it wasn't so much like, and I jumped across the room. It was more like, you know,
Yeah, and the wire work,
You know.
it was great.
Yeah,
Like, it was
yeah.
fun watching them swing
You know.
around, and
So-
like the actress that played Catwoman looked great. And,
yeah, she was good.
and I don't know if the woman enjoyed the bat muscles.
I don't know, those shoulders were like super, like he had super,
He looked like he was
going
to fall over. On
Like he
these
looked like,
things.
it looked like Rob Liefeld drew this part of him, you know, like that's how big I thought the
that's
pecs were.
somewhere.
I don't know.
Somebody out in San Jose is throwing himself out of a window because you
Because I said that?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
comparing me to Rob Liefeld, really? And
Well,
he
just the
swung
pecs.
right
The
up.
rest of the costume was okay, but every
Yeah.
time I looked at his like shoulders, I was like, man, those are too big, dude. Like maybe for the wire work they need to be big. I don't know what it is, but they were really big. And so here they try to streamline the story a bit and say that, you know, Catwoman knows Tony Zuko and all the, you know, sort of supervillains know of Tony Zuko. So Batman's trying to hit her up for information.
Which,
And
by
so-
the way, it's exemption Catwoman rules here, where it's
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
Which I always, I know it's a kid's show and that's fine, but I mean, like, but even as a kid, that was annoying me. That was some fat guy that was wire working down to get the diamonds. Batman would punch his guts in,
and then send him to jail.
but since it's a hot piece of ass named Catwoman, Batman's
That's
absolutely no problem with it.
No problem with it.
He's like, I'm just gonna take this back. Okay, bye.
One day you'll understand, chum.
Yeah, you understand that the Bat Boner thinks
Is-
harder than the Bat Brain, but
Yes, that's pretty much what it is. And so basically that's what's funny is the reason why he brings that up is after they do that fight, it's like he turned to me and elbowed me and he's like, why isn't he taking her to jail? Like, what's up with that? And she just kind of crawls away and he like flies off in the other
Yeah.
direction, and that's the
And
end
she
of
goes
that.
back to
it's
pal
like
around
then
with
she
the
goes
criminals.
back to, you know, I mean, he stops her from taking the diamond, but she still
But then
broke and entered and
Commissioner Gordon, meanwhile, is
like, yeah, he's like, what the
crapping
what the
into
hell?
his
Yeah.
Maylocks
Yeah,
because he's
and-
saying, "Why didn't you apprehend the person that was stealing the gem in the first place?"
Yeah, and then so
But remember, it's Catwoman's a piece of ass, so it's perfectly all right.
yeah, that's fine. And
I kind of agree with that actually. Now that I think about
well,
it.
you got to do the Garth Ennis thing. It's like that's why they all slobber over Catwoman.
Yeah, but those are
That's her
hitmen.
fan
They
aura.
don't give a damn.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they-
true.
it's-
But Batman's supposed to have his moral
Batman,
code,
yeah.
right? Yeah. His moral code only
this is
applies
my city.
as long
Unless
as-
it's a piece of ass that's floating down through wires, then
Exactly.
it's your city
Then
too.
it's your city too, baby. Baby, I'm normally a vegetarian.
That's
Batman
DC character
because
logic.
Catwoman's a vegetarian, but Batman does like a tasty burger every once in a while, you know, like that kind of thing. And then so they go to scene 6, right?
Right. Batman likes to put a little bit of creamer in his vegan coffee.
Right. So scene 6, they go to the Iceberg Lounge. So this is Penguin, right? And of course, before Penguin even comes on screen, I'm like, wah, wah, wah. And what's his first line? Is like, wah, wah, wah. So he comes
He
out.
made sure that we didn't miss it.
Yes, yeah, it was really elongated.
He had pipes.
Basically, like they're at the Iceberg Lounge, and they do another kind of Cirque du Soleil number. And basically, the headliner of the Cirque du Soleil number, if you're a Firestorm fan, you may recognize the name Crystal Frost, because Crystal Frost was the first person to become Killer Frost. And if you don't know what we're talking about, no big deal, because she doesn't turn into Killer Frost or anything. But I was elbowing him, kind of going, hey, I wonder if they're going to make her Killer Frost. And they never did. But she, you know, kind of, she's scaling down this, what would you call it? Like a big, like, scarf? What
It
do they
was,
call that?
You see, there was like a credit card commercial or hotel commercial where some lady was two curtains and they flip themselves around the curtains.
They flip around in the curtains and stuff, and that's basically what they're doing in the Iceberg Lounge, like all these, performers and everything, circus kind of performers, wrapping their legs, around and, kind of flipping out of the kind of, like you're doing a magic trick and they, basically yo-yo themselves up and then they flip down into the sort of release position or what have you. And then meanwhile, because they're at the Iceberg Lounge, then pretty much all the villains bust out of the woodwork, like no more time for origins or explanations or anything. They just start throwing all these bad guys at you. And, Catwoman shows up to tell Penguin, hey, look, Batman's after Tony Zuko, and Penguin at first is kind of like, well, why should I give a shit? And then Catwoman's like, well, he knows all our secrets, because I guess they have strong ties, supposedly, in this play. They're all bosom buddies, like they told Zuko everything. And and so if Batman gets the dirt on Zuko, he's going to have the dirt on all of them. And then Penguin kind of comes to his senses, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, let's call in everybody. And so Riddler comes and shows up and says they all have to work together. And then, of course, the disappointment of the night shows up, which was, I'm Harvey Dent. I'm Two-Face. Hey, what's going on? Not much!
Why does my favorite Batman villain have to act like a badge no matter what he's in? He's in Batman Forever, and I got Tommy Lee Jones, that Texas ass. And then I got, The Dark Knight, where it's just Aaron Eckhart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just one big... I mean, Aaron Eckhart was awesome up until he turned into Two-Face. Well, I'll spare you. But not your driver.
You're a lucky man. He's not. Who? Your driver.
But you were riding in the car with Maroni so you killed all three. You broke your own coin rule because you spared Maroni, but you didn't. So because you shot the driver, flipped, and you killed every. And then it's like, I'm sorry, but
no, but that's fine. But so even in this, they do the coin flip, but he doesn't actually have a coin, so it's kind of funny because they have the bat rear projection. Remember, so he flips a fake flip, and then you see this fake Jim Lee art of the coin flipping or whatever, and him deciding like, okay, like let's all save Tony Zuko from Batman. And at that moment, like Tony Zuko busts in and he's like, he's after me, and they black it out. And then, Batman, swoops in. It's like, who's after him? Batman is after Tony Zuko and everything. And then Tony Zuko, mysteriously, he gets shot, right?
No, he just... It seems like he just kind of shows up and then he's saying something like, he's after me, but it's like, you never really find out.
Because I thought, didn't the Joker, like, sort of...
Yeah, he neurotoxin, but I think it was implied that...
Oh, yeah. They do the neurotoxin, and then they do the close-up of that once he's dead, they do that Jim Lee fake art close-up of the Joker venom, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's how I think Act 1... Or I guess they go into the Haley Circus, but now Joker, it's like scene 7, and Joker's taken over the circus. So instead of it saying Haley's Circus, and it's like red and yellow tents, it's like Joker's Circus, and it's green and purple tents and everything. Mm-hmm. Now I guess this is what everybody may have been waiting for. So who headlines here? Is it the Joker or Harley Quinn?
It's the Joker that's the headliner.
Yes.
But since the TAS guys were the writers of this, Harley Quinn steals the show.
Yes, she does. I mean, I would say...
the flowers and the fruit basket.
I would say, besides Batman, like, Harley Quinn has the most... I mean, it's supposed to be the Joker that has the second most, but...
Harley Quinn decides the climax. Harley Quinn has, like, the magic... It's great, because, like, Robin... There's a scene where... Harley Quinn's getting into boxes and
that's basically what's happening. Like Joker's planning a trap for Batman. So Joker kidnaps Dick Grayson, and so he's like, I'm gonna kill Batman, and he's showing Dick Grayson like all these death traps he has. So like there are like boxes where he's going to skewer her with swords. There's boxes where the boxes is going to explode because it's set with like dynamite or something like that. And basically he's always like, Harley! And Joker looked great, by the way. Like he kind of looked like Beetlejuice a little bit. He had a pinstripe suit with like, purple lines and white lines, and his hair was all kind of frizzy. It seemed like he was slightly inspired or influenced by the Heath Ledger Joker, I would say. But a little more Beetlejuice-ish inspired too, and the actor who played him I thought was really good. Like he was a good actor, and he really sold the Joker and everything like that. But he basically was always asking Harley, Harl, stop fucking around and get in the box. I need a volunteer. And the Harley's always trying to like walk the other way, and he's like, no, get in the box. And I'm kind of like sitting there, me now, because maybe if you've heard some of the podcasts, I was hoping Harley would get killed in R.I.P. and stuff, and I wouldn't have to deal with her anymore, And so basically every time Harley's in peril, I'm kind of like, yes, maybe this will be the time. Just like Mercy got like her head blown off in Superman.
Speaking of which, you did see to it that little mess was cleaned up.
LexCorp was never there.
And neither were you.
Like, that's kind of what I want to happen, And so, it's like, Mr. J, why are you putting the skewers in the box? And all this other stuff. And, like, literally, the box blows up, she's totally skewered, but she keeps coming up from the depths.
That was done just to spite you.
Yes, it's basically like, we're going to give you what you want, No! She's still alive, basically.
It's just to put it in perspective, though, I'm not a hater in Harley Quinn territory. I just can't stand the fact that she started out as an awesome Joker goon, which Paul Dini understood. And next thing you know, every time the Joker shows up, this chick shows up too, and it's just, hey, Mr. J, and it's about 5 years of Mr. J, before I can finally hear the Joker do stuff. And it's like I paid to see Batman and Joker, not Batman and Joker and this mall with the jester ears yammer in my ears all day. And it's just, and without the Joker, I don't find her interesting. I just
yeah.
That's the other thing about her. It's just kind of like Poison Ivy, awesome. Catwoman, awesome. This hussy, no. Like, just, So it's just, it's sort of like, the best way I can put it is imagine Goldfinger and Oddjob. And before you know it, Oddjob's like juggling pies, and like Goldfinger's like, I got you now, Mr. Bond. I'll just... No, you won't. And Oddjob throws his hat. You've hit me in the face for the last time, Goldfinger. And smacks him. And it's kind of like, I paid to watch Bond do this shit.
Yes.
And so it's... So with
we're kind of jumping ahead, but basically like...
with this scene, it was like... He's like, whoa, hey, Batman could totally get out of that. Oh, really? And then they're stabbing the box. And then she escapes. And I'm like, look, I'm with Robin. I paid to see Batman get out of that death trap.
Yes.
I didn't pay to see this bag get out of this
Well, the other thing, too, though, is I was doing the thing of, me, Grimlock, have questions, because I'm like, wait, if Harley can get out of this death trap,
then why
couldn't Batman get out of the death trap? I mean, Joker's showing all these...
on the podcast, the Me Grimlock?
No, not that much. Like it's just...
right.
But it's like, it's just one of those things where, it's like...
Me Grimlock, I'm confused.
It's more...
You see, okay, so Joker's so confident that Batman can't get out of this trap, but stupid bitch got out of trap. So stupid bitch greater than Batman? Or this trap couldn't stop a stupid bitch.
Yeah,
so
it's like
Grimlock, me and the Dinobots are confused.
But if trap cannot stop stupid bitch, why am Joker use it? It's like I don't get that. But
So they say on forums, hey, Joker crazy. But I didn't pay to see Joker be dumb and crazy. I paid to see Batman defeat crazy's awesome psychopath. Right?
Yeah. So, but that basically that's kind of how Act 1 ends. Is you find out that the Joker is behind the racketeering. So it's kind of weird. It's like a Batman Forever type thing. Like, but instead of Two-Face being responsible for Robin's
Well,
parents.
in Batman Forever, Two-Face just kind of walks in there, kills everybody, and walks out.
Yeah. But in this,
random.
this, it's almost like it's kind of like how Joe Chill killed Batman's parents, but then you find out like, oh, Lou Moxon hired Joe Chill to get revenge on Dr. Wayne. It's almost like you find out like Joker.
Yeah, it's one of those things
Joker
where it's like,
hired Tony Zuko to rough up the circus.
every now and again, these Bat writers seem to remember that Joker was a criminal originally.
Yeah.
So this is suddenly he's a criminal, and then that's only long enough to make him the main villain and tie him to the plot. I mean, I would have been interesting to see if I had done this. It would have been interesting to see Zuko run to the Joker for protection, saying, like none of all the villains are like, get away from me because I'm not. You're going to bring the bat.
And he's the only, the Joker's the only one scary enough. To keep Batman
he's
away.
like, I like that idea, because then he'll be like, I like that idea, and then the bat will come straight to you, and then Zuko somehow gets his just desserts.
Yeah.
Or maybe Robin can have a final confrontation with Zuko, but instead it's just they remain true to the story that Zuko did it. Then they kill Zuko so they can put Joker as the main villain. Only in this case, Joker unleashed Zuko to get money to do what?
What exactly?
To buy his hot air balloon?
Well, and even that, like when you go into Act 2, they go back to Haley's Circus. Batman saves Robin, or Dick Grayson or whatever, and then you go back to Wayne Manor. I'm kind of going through this real quick just so we can get to the main point that we're talking about. But Batman reveals his secret identity. He's just like, I'm Batman, and Dick Grayson's like, no, you're not. He's like, yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Prove it, and he takes him down to the Batcave. Oh, okay, you are.
But
like that was kind of weird. And then of course Alfred's kind of like Joel Schumacher. Alfred, like, I thought we weren't telling the boy. This is bad. Here's a Robin costume. Like that's basically what happens. Like it's like he's against it, but then all of a sudden he gives him, Dick Grayson a Robin costume. But then you go back to Arkham Asylum. And why do you go to Arkham Asylum? Because after all that nonsense, when Batman saves Robin, the only person left is Harley Quinn, because she's still in that trap box. She didn't get out of the last trap, and then she's like, ta-da! I escaped! And then it's like, but you escaped, and Commissioner Gordon's there. And I'm already nudging him, kind of going, if Harley Quinn beats up Commissioner Gordon in the Gotham PD, I'm going to be pissed. And luckily, they take
Harley's got it all. Harley does the Joker funny lines? No, let's give him to Harley.
Give him to Harley.
Batman heroics? Nah, let's just give him the Harley.
Because it's like they take her to Arkham, and then Harley's sitting there, doing the woe is me, my pudding is gonna break me out of the asylum, and basically Catwoman's trying to, feminism, she's trying to set her straight, like Harl, he doesn't care about you, the typical kind of, explanation, the typical kind of psychology that people always try to explain to Harley, but she's never gonna get it because she's into a sadomasochistic, abusive relationship.
She
with this
read
guy.
50 Shades of Grey long before it was cool.
Yeah, and so basically, like you've got like Batman, who's supposed to be like saving the day, and you got Joker, who's supposed to be doing some kind of nefarious criminal scheme, but Joker breaks into Arkham Asylum. Like, why would he do that? Like, and everybody's like, Joker's crazy. It's like, why is he breaking into Arkham Asylum? And of course, Harley's like, 'cause my pudding's gonna save me. But that's not why he broke in, right? Mm-hmm. It's like to draw Batman in and capture him or whatever it is, right? But it's kind of funny that, like...
How did Zuko fit?
How did Zuko... Yeah, what was the racketeer protection money for then? Like, why couldn't he have just broken into Arkham Asylum in the first place without killing...
It would have been better if Zuko just went to Joker.
Yeah.
I think that is a story at some point, isn't it? It had to be in the story somewhere where Batman's pursuing
somebody probably
and
did that, and the Joker gets a hold of him. I mean, that probably would have been the better way to go. And so, now we're into the second act and everything, and, I kind of skimmed through it really quick, but since we're already here, they introduced the Batmobile. And it's actually a car on stage. Looks pretty sweet. In the concession stand with all the merchandise, the kids could buy little Hot Wheels toys of the car, and they have all these schematics. And then when he was nudging me, elbowing me, there's this funny part because on the rear projection screen, you see Batman has his what did we call it? His bat pad.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got like an Apple bat pad, but it's shaped like a bat, and he's like, and in the back of the screen, you can see the schematics of the Batmobile, and up on like the left-hand corner, you saw like Batsoft, like OS, 1.1. So it's like, so now you know, guys, Batman has his own.
So some of that's
his own operating
in other words,
system.
some of that Danielle or Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher stuff.
Yeah, definitely
leaked in a bit.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of that element to it, kind of stuff. And so yeah, he has his own operating system and everything. And so they have this big sequence, which, what did you call it? Like achievement unlocked sequence?
Oh, right.
Because the Batmobile, basically you see on
3
the screen.
minutes of CGI Batmobile driving around crappily with it looked like I was playing a DS game, and it was just like, and people were just kind of sitting there going,
Finally, it does like a wheelie, like just the good old boys, and it like lands at Arkham Asylum.
I wasn't feeling that part. It was animated by Max Headroom, and it's just. I mean, if they want, if for a minute there, it just went Star Toursy. Except you didn't have the first person view in the car.
Yeah, you were
watching the car, so it felt like
car.
watching somebody play.
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance game from 1999. So.
Yeah, so that was the Batmobile sequence. I mean, the actual physical car looked good, but they couldn't drive it around on stage, obviously.
Right.
And then so you've got Batman in the asylum ready to fight off all these guys, and then 2 more new villains are introduced.
Poison Ivy and Scarecrow.
Yeah. And so Scarecrow had extended circus performer legs, right?
Yeah, Scarecrow was great. Like, they had the performer on stilts and was walking around. They had this kind of this morbid backdrop where there's all these hanging bodies from the ceiling, and it was just kind of like, what the...
Yeah, it was kind of...
Batman all of a sudden walked into Silent Hill for a second, and it was just like...
Yeah, that was the one thing I know in a lot of the reviews. People are like, is it safe for the kids? Is it like the gritty, dark Batman that's R-rated that I can't take my kids to? And most people are like, Batman Live is for kids. It's like the 60s show.
Except
and like to a degree,
scene.
but except for this one scene where you've got all these guys like strung up and hung in Arkham Asylum. And you have the physical circus performers that look like they're hung and strung up. And then you have the fake Jim Lee art of the asylum where it looks like people just regress. What do you call it when it just constantly regresses? Like when there's millions of hung people, it's like a picture within a picture within a picture, pretty much. Like that's kind of what it looked like.
Batman walked into a Mortal Kombat arena.
Yeah, definitely.
Where it's just like there was no blood, but I mean,
and so
there are motionless, bald, decrepit, hanging bodies lasted up with chains from the ceiling.
Right.
So it was like, so at one point. Scarecrow walks in. We were looking at each other like, I don't think this is so kid friendly.
Well, yeah. We were looking at each other.
And then the Scarecrow comes in, and I'm like, oh, there you go, fear gas.
Yeah. And his explanation was he was kind of like, oh, dude, it's just the fear gas. And I'm like,
Scarecrow eventually just kind of walks off.
Yeah, because Poison Ivy gets introduced quickly thereafter, and then all the asylum inmates get introduced quickly thereafter,
but
including
the bodies remained.
but then the bodies and the backdrop
the
remained. So you're like, well, wait, like
did Joker kill him?
Yeah, like you're kind of wondering. Like it felt like the backdrop felt like that kind of distasteful run. Like I know people have heard me criticize the New 52 Detective Comics, where it's really really violent and the Joker's face gets skinned off like a Tobe Hooper Texas Chainsaw film or whatever. Like that's what it kind of reminded me of, this thing with all the hung guys in the background and everything. And then Poison Ivy shows up and tries to seduce Batman, I guess. She's like comes on a sort of vine circus string.
Yeah, and
thing.
keep in mind all the performances, like the acrobatics were all like
top notch, good stuff.
We're all brilliant.
Yeah,
and like kids will have a good time, but they're probably staring at the bodies.
Yeah, that part of it was weird. Like, do we want to talk about also in the asylum how they constantly had like the Joker head that was made of all the circus performers?
Yeah, I mean that stuff was awesome too.
Yeah,
at one point they part the backdrop of dead dudes hang from the ceiling.
Yeah, the bat.
In comes this giant
the
Joker's
bat rear projection
head.
Parts, and the head comes out, and like the eyes.
Yeah,
and
the eyes, the teeth, and the tongue all of a sudden flop, and then they reveal that they're dudes.
It's
hanging
actually
there.
like the Jokers and,
Yeah.
and villains and things like that. And that
Yeah,
was
and I
kinda
thought that
cool.
was really, I thought that was really cool. All that's great. I just, like I was saying, it's just-
Yeah, that was a little weird, like the fact that like because
and they're there for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time.
Batman has no commentary on them. They don't ever really.
Yeah, it's not
mention-
like Batman tries to save these people.
Yeah.
They're just
Scarecrow
ornamental.
Scarecrow,
you know.
Nothing. There's no even a special effect for fear gas. Really, he's just Batman's walking in and he's kind of casually walking around all these dead corpses. Then Scarecrow walks in and Batman's going. The actor's going, I'm something. I don't know if it was. I don't know if I'm scared, but I got gas.
Well, it's like
and then Scarecrow
they tried
leaves
to,
and Poison Ivy shows up
Yeah.
and Batman's getting seduced.
So it's like
amongst the
he
pile
got
of bodies.
It's like he got fear gassed, and then he got Poison Ivy poisoned, and then everybody sort of gang piles Batman, pretty much.
At
So,
which
like,
point Robin comes in.
Yeah, and basically at that point Alfred gives Robin the suit, and Robin comes in to help him, and he comes down on wire work.
Did we mention the Alfred Tybo?
Oh no, we did not. We did not. The training apparently, British Special Forces begin with Tybo. That's how you start to train because there was this big like uniform. We got to do it at the same time, right? It's like we'll do like this, right? Like that. That basically in all three.
You too
of
can
them,
be Batman.
All
if you have
three
a
of them
crusty
were
old British guy go
we're
like
doing
this.
the Tybo or whatever to train and stuff like that. So Dick comes, and then this is why I guess having a hot piece of ass in Gotham City pays off because. Basically, the whole time Catwoman was on the bad guy's side, and then sort of out of nowhere, she like gives Batman the Pulp Fiction, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy antidote that she, injects into his chest, and Batman's kind of like, oh, thanks, and she's like, don't thank me, thank the kid.
His prep time is really off in this.
There is no prep time. Like it's just for the purpose of, comics or whatever, but not for this stage show. He just kind of he comes in, he thinks he's gonna smack around all
This
these
is
guys.
not the same guy that humiliated.
Well,
Darkseid.
because in the first scene when he fights like the four villains in the Iceberg Lounge, like the rear projection screen, it's kind of funny because the fight sequences, some of them are okay, but like it's funny in the Iceberg Lounge, he's punching all the guys, but he's in place, and like they act like he's dodging bullets because the rear projection screen shows you all the bullets flying everywhere, but in reality, it's just him standing in one place going.
I was hoping for Batman to be more dynamic in these fights.
He is kind of
he stays in one spot and then the dancers come up and then throw themselves somewhere.
Basically, it's like I come up and if he's Batman, I come up and then I'm like and he just kind of moves his hand like he hit me type thing. So at that point, like Catwoman, Robin, and Batman fight all the Jokers. They fight all the inmates, and the whole time there's this confrontation, kind of Batman Forever-ish, where Dick Grayson's like, well, I want to kill the guy who killed my parents. I want to kill Zuko. And Batman's like, no, we believe in justice, not vengeance. And apparently justice involves punching the shit out of the Joker, but not killing him. That's apparently what justice involves. And vengeance, I guess if you kill somebody, well, that's way too much. So luckily the Joker, gets to take the heat and Joker venoms Tony Zuko. But then Robin's anger is, transferred. He's like, he wants vengeance against the Joker, And I bring this up because Catwoman, Batman, and Robin are fighting all the inmates of the asylum, Riddler, Penguin, the Joker goons, like all these different guys, with katana swords. So they're like slicing up all these dudes. So apparently, like slicing them up with katana blades is okay. Like that's not vengeance. I don't know what happened to them, but they do fight them with swords. And then basically it looks like they're kind of winning and everything. And then the Joker pops out, right? And he's in his hot air balloon, which is also like a big, huge Joker head, right? And you think like, oh, this is the big finale. It's going to be Joker and Batman, mano a mano. Like he's going to, bring the Joker to jail and tell Dick like, oh, we do justice, not vengeance, blah, 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 all that bullshit, right? And so you the standard kind of ending or what have you. But instead, you want to tell us what happens?
Joker gets blown up by Harley's rocket.
Come on, sucker!
No, you don't! Not this time, buddy!
Yeah, basically Harley Quinn saves the day. And how does that happen, you ask? Well, Harley Quinn thinks that the Joker was coming to bust her out of Arkham Asylum. And then when the Joker basically takes off in this hot air balloon, kind of Lex Luthor style, it's like she's like Otis all of a sudden, and it's like he kicks off the ladder, and it's basically like, sorry, Harl, there's no room for you. It's like, I'm making my getaway, and then all of a sudden it dawns on her that she's been used this whole play. And then she has a random burst of, feminism, because then she's got, a rocket launcher. And originally she was holding Batman, Catwoman, and Robin at bay with the rocket launcher so they could not attack Mr. J, my puddin'. But then when that goes down, she basically turns on him and is like, I'll teach you, puddin', to treat me bad, and blows him up.
So to wit, Odd Job. Harley Quinn escaped the traps Batman was supposed to escape from, got all the funny lines Joker was supposed to get, got all more airtime than Robin, who's the driving character of this story arc, and got to defeat the fucking villain who Batman I paid to watch defeat.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I don't hate that character. Again, I'm not a hater of anything, really. But I wish TAS guys, get off your own jocks on fucking Harley Quinn, okay?
Yeah, just because you made her.
It's not that cool. It's not that she's a piece of ass. Bruce Timm, put away your dick. Stop watching porno. Stop beating to your own fucking drawings. Stop putting these fucking stupid-ass hot sidekick characters that swallow everything. I mean, Jesus Christ. Arkham City was the last time they ever got that character right, because Paul Dini was involved. My understanding is, anyway, that he wrote that. He understood the character creator. She's just Odd Job. The point of fucking Goldfinger is not Odd Job. The point of fucking Goldfinger is James Bond and the villain, Goldfinger. Do the Bond girls take over the show? No, they're literally pussy galore. Does fucking Odd Job take over the whole show? He's in the climax. He's in the climatic fight. But I mean, he's the big guy that he has to be. Harley Quinn is not that.
Yeah.
Batman defeats her with one pin slap. But it's like in Arkham City, she shows up. She's just how she used to be when she was cool. Or at least just tolerable. She would show up. She's funny. The actress, who's the actress that does her voice? Who's amazing.
Arlene Sorkinson.
Arlene Sorkinson. Yeah, she's a fucking genius. They mimic her voice precisely.
If you're dead, who's gonna save poor Mr. J?
Because, dude, if Mark Hamill is Joker, that woman is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
There's no. Yeah. So all that's genius. She's in Arkham City. You have the level where you go through the foundry or whatever, and Harley Quinn's there yucking it up, and then Batman goes on to the main story, and by the time the Joker returns, it's just the Joker.
Yeah.
That's it. Harley Quinn has one cameo where she's tied up, and Batman's like, what do you got to say? Oh, shut up. That's it. That's it. Then I can enjoy my Joker, and I can have my Mark Hamill go, I have snipers everywhere. My poor Batman gets shot in the, see you, Batman. Bye. And I'm like, there's no... Yeah, Mr. J, your sniper's really shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, but
and finally, my exhibit XYZ for this shit, everyone masturbates over how fucking awesome the Joker is in Dark Knight. Ledger Joker, so brilliant. Ahem. No fucking Harley Quinn in that movie. Nowhere. Zero. Done. She's not there. Why? Because Christopher Nolan says, Roy, I can't have Heath Ledger be awesome and then this noisy bitch in the fucking corner. Yeah, Mr. J. It just gets irritating, dude. But since TAS guys were involved in this musical, Harley gets to do everything.
Yeah, it's like they have a lot of obviously fond memories of Batman.
And I didn't hear any kids saying this, but I guarantee you, there's some kid out there saying, why didn't Batman get to stop the Joker? Because they can't stop riding their own jocks on Harley Quinn.
No. You know what happens is the dad's like, maybe next time, buddy. Maybe next time Batman will actually get to fight the Joker. Like that's what we felt like when we were leaving. Like it's like maybe next time.
And I
buddy.
will say some of those they paint themselves in the corner with how abusive Joker is. Like I never people always Mad Love's one of my favorite, and no, it's not for me. I don't like watching Joker slap Harley, throw her through desks and windows. I don't think that's funny. And then it's like so to mouth breathing comic book male nerds, I love that scene where Joker puts his fist in her face, ha ha. But then it's to us normal people, when we see these fucking things, don't like the Joker as a villain, as a character. You just want to see him dead, and most people are going to want to probably see Harley Quinn put this asshole out of his misery because he treats her so awfully.
That's the thing. They set that up so that you want Harley to give the Joker his comeuppance. Otherwise, you have all these angry, women and
which is fine. Which is fine for this Mad Love thing. Although I mean, again, the fact that the cartoon kind of played that for yucks was kind of weird to me. But I didn't pay to see Harley Quinn to escape Batman's own traps.
Yeah,
I didn't pay to see Harley Quinn beat the Joker. I paid to see Batman do this stuff.
So that's basically kind of how the stage show ends. Like they defeat, or Harley Quinn defeats the Joker, and then everybody's rounded up, and taken care of, put in the asylum, except for Catwoman.
Yeah, right.
And that's when they have the scene where it's like, oh, someday you'll understand, chum, and he's like, understand what, dude? Like, she's hot, and then all the audience is screaming for Batman and Catwoman to kiss, basically, at the end. Like, they got into that kind of playful relationship and everything. Yeah. And they were happy because eventually, Batman and Catwoman share a last moment.
Though I hasten to add, Catwoman was a inmate at Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
So, but I mean, that in itself is a different problem, I guess, quote unquote. But the
so was Penguin, who shouldn't be really at Arkham Asylum either.
But B. Grimlock, okay, she was inmate, she was arrested.
Yes.
Then she make out with Batman,
and then
Batman let her go.
Yep.
So Batman helped criminal escape.
I think what happened is he turned into Bruce Wayne and he signed her out. He signed her out of the asylum. He's like she's gonna kiss me, so I'm gonna sign you out of the asylum.
So yeah, if you're a piece of ass, you can escape Batman's brand of justice.
So the moral of the story
Batman
is...
let a hot piece of ass criminal escape.
That's one moral. If you're hot, you get off scot-free.
As far as I'm concerned, he aided and abetted the Joker.
Right. And then the other moral of the story is that if only you treated your annoying hench girl with proper respect, you may have won the criminal day. Like if Joker would have won if Harley Quinn hadn't turned on him.
Mm-hmm.
So don't.
Well, he would have at least escaped.
Yeah, he would have. At the very least, he would have escaped. But
yeah, that's all kind of
relative.
It's almost like time travel confusing.
Yes.
Because it's Harley does show up with the bazooka to help him escape. Then he escapes. Then she shoots him.
Yes.
So it's I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was that. Basically, that's Batman Live. And I just wanted to share our experiences, our thoughts. We stood in line for a little bit to take some photos with the Lego Batman people or whatever. They built Batmans out of Legos, and I'll probably have some photos of that. The only thing I would say is if you're worried for the kids for the hanging thing, that's a little intense. For me personally, the fog, like they use, smog and fog machines and stuff, and I got a little congested, based on that. I never really liked fog machines, even though I've worked in theater and used them before. It's like always something you have to kind of put up with, and like that wasn't my favorite part of it. I could have done without that because it made me kind of congested and everything. And for the seats, they were kind of we had good seats where we were right up front. But they were kind of like these little folding chairs, and they're kind of uncomfortable. Like, they weren't, like, you were kind of packed in like sardines, and, that's the only thing I would say about it. But, I mean, as far as the visuals, the acrobatics, the costuming, all that stuff, all the costumes look like the characters, it looks like Darwin Cook's Catwoman costume, it looks kind of like a little bit Batman Incorporated, a little bit Dark Knight, Christian Bale, Dark Knight costuming, and a little bit Joel Schumacher, but all kind of recognizable, familiar costuming and characters and everything like that. And what I did hear little kids saying was, when we walked out of the theater, was, they didn't have Mr. Freeze, and they didn't have Man-Bat. And, like, they were trying to list off the ones that they didn't see. So
No Bane.
No Bane. Like the kid.
Which is kind of odd. I mean, that's very un-Warner Brothers.
Yeah, you'd think you'd have a tie-in or something.
At least, somebody with a bad Mexican accent going, "Hey, don't forget about me! I am in Arkham Asylum as well!"
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, comes up to give Batman a venom-powered pat on the ass right after Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
That could have been easily snuck in.
Yeah, they could have snuck that in there.
Scarecrow, fear gas. Poison Ivy, toxic kiss. Bane, pat on the ass with venom.
It's like Venom Kirby smash. Or whatever. Yeah, something like that could have been done. But
yeah, I mean, very un-Warner Brothers, man. They missed the opportunity. Some exec is going to not get
will pay.
He's not going to get his ivory back scratcher this year. Too bad.
All right, guys. So thanks for listening, and watch more History of Comics on film, and listen to Fanholes podcast. Thanks.